Do you ever feel that you don't have any real strengths? Maybe you compare yourself to your colleagues and feel that they're just better at their job than you. This can make you feel disillusioned at work, lowering your levels of motivation and self-esteem. Well, in this video, I'm going to let you know how I realized my underlying superpower at work, which is the real reason that I'm actually any good at my job as a physiotherapist, so that you can discover your own superpower as well and apply this to your job and even your personal life. Hey friends, Mahin here. So something that I've heard a lot from other physios that I work with is that they don't really know what their real strengths are or what in particular about their job that they're really good at. This is really common because when we think about our jobs, we think about the job as a whole. So we either say that we are good at our job or we're not good at our job. But in reality, our jobs are made up of lots of different roles and skills, some that we'll be better at or enjoy more than other parts of the job. I used to just think I was a good physiotherapist until I got mentored by the founder of the company that I work for. He helped me realize that there was actually something very specific that I was good at that made me then good at my overall role. This big strength is what I now call my superpower. So as we went through the mentoring sessions, one of the exercises that we did was to help me identify my leadership strengths. This was a really interesting exercise because I started to learn things about myself that I didn't even know. My mentor told me that he felt that my leadership strength was my ability to bring people along with me on a journey or on board with a changed way of thinking and doing things. And since I heard that, I've actually started to reflect on my clinical practice, and I've actually realized that that's so true. Because a lot of the time when my patients come to see me in pain management, I have to discuss a different way of approaching their pain in terms of we're not looking to get rid of the pain because often there isn't one cure or fix for that. But actually, what I try to help them do is to live well in the presence of their pain, which is something that is completely different for a lot of people and a different approach to what they're used to. Now, this is by no means an easy sell, so I really see that actually one of my strengths is my ability to bring people on board with that idea and move forwards with it. And then further to that, what I've actually realized is the reason that I've actually done quite well in my clinical career so far is not just because I'm a good clinician, which I kind of hope I am, but mainly because of this leadership skill and this communication skill with my ability to bring people along with me with an idea or on a journey. And it's actually this skill rather than my clinical skills that probably gives me a little bit more strength, and that's why that's my superpower. And it's this skill in particular rather than my generalized clinical skills that makes me a good physiotherapist. And I've also realized that this is the part of the job that I enjoy the most as well. And just today I had a lady who came to see me in clinic and she was so skeptical about what I was saying or what I was offering, and really kind of fixated on the old biomedical beliefs around pain, that there must be some structural damage or structural changes that are causing her pain. And this lady had fibromyalgia, and at the beginning of the consultation, she was very reluctant and hesitant and almost kind of a little bit standoffish, as to be expected when someone's kind of getting you to think in a different way about your pain. But what I saw over the consultation was that shift and how actually she gradually started to come on board. The smiles started coming out, she leant forward, she was more engaged, she was interested. And I really love that about my job. I love taking people from one place and taking them over to another place where we can then move forwards with what we're offering in the service. Another part of the mentoring process was actually going through and finding areas of the business that might be most suited to my strengths. And there were some areas that I didn't even think about working in. And this was almost a bit of a revelation to me because I've always just seen myself as a clinician and having good clinical skills. But actually, when you take the thing that I'm really good at, so what I mentioned around the communication and bringing people along with me on a journey, that skill can actually be applied to lots of different roles. It doesn't have to just be a clinical role. So now that I know that this is my superpower, I can actually look at other roles in the future where I might be able to use this strength a little bit more. And also I can really tap into how I can use this strength and superpower for things in my personal life, to engage with other people, but also in my other projects, so like the wellness puzzle, for example. So how can you find your superpower? Well, I think a good starting point is reflecting on the job that you currently have and thinking about what you enjoy about your job, what tasks you look forward to the most about doing and what brings you the most energy at work. Because it isn't all on an even playing field. There are some things that you probably won't look forward to doing, and there's other things that you really do look forward to doing. And sometimes, not always, but a lot of the time, that ties in with our strengths. So if we're good at something, we look forward to doing it more than perhaps if we find something is a little bit more boring and tedious and actually we don't really have much connection with that task. So as well as looking at the things that you enjoy about your job, it's also really important to look at the things that you don't enjoy, the things that you really kind of despise doing, that you don't look forward to doing, that you dread doing, and also those things that just drain your energy for the day. And it's always important to know about where our strengths and our interests don't lie, as well as it is to know where they do lie. So the second part of this is actually looking at how your skills within your role, when broken down, are different to your colleagues. And maybe what you find easier or you seem to be better at than them as well. So taking the example that I had again, looking at myself as a physiotherapist, there was one strength that really kind of shone through, where maybe I'm different to everybody else in my ability to bring people along with me on the journey. Whereas another physiotherapist might be better at diagnostics, their assessment skills might be better, or they might be better at rehab and finding a really good rehab plan for a patient. So everyone's going to have different strengths. And if we lean into our strengths, then that's where we're going to find our superpower. This also helps to set us apart from the rest, because although we might all be in the same job role and we might be doing the same tasks, not everyone will have the same strengths. And it's really important to know that, because then when you move on to other roles in the future, you know where your strengths truly lie, and you can really tap into that and find stuff that really makes the most out of that. So finally, how are you going to make the most out of your newfound superpower? Well, we're all raised to try and be all-rounders, and if we lack skills or strengths in one area, we're encouraged to focus on these areas until they improve. And this happens right from school all the way through to work. Even at a school level, we are encouraged to study all subjects, and within reason, that's absolutely understandable. But then this continues throughout our lives as well, and we feel like we need to make up for the things we're not as good at. But what would happen if we focused on being less of an all-rounder and focused more on the strengths that we already have, so these become compounded over time and they continue to improve, which sets you further apart from the person next to you? Just take a look at the World Cup that's happening at the moment, and I'm recording this video before the final between France and Argentina. And we look at Lionel Messi, for example, who has played most of his career in the right wing position, okay? And he's not tried to play in centre mid, he's not tried to play at centre back, he's not tried to play at left back, he's not tried to play in goal, because he is good at being in that certain position, and he's one of the best in the world. And the reason I say this is because he's just played a really good semi-final, and even at the end of his career, he's absolutely dominant in that position. But that's because he's put all of his time, energy and focus into that strength within that position. If he started off trying to try all the different positions and flitted around, he probably wouldn't have been the footballer that he is today. So rely on your superpower rather than a list of moderate strengths, as your superpower is yours and what sets you apart. If we try and be the best at everything, it often leads us not being the best at anything. So double down on your superpower once you find it. Your superpower can then be extended to other parts of your current role at work and your personal life as well. More importantly though, your superpower can be used to find other things seemingly unrelated to your current role that you may be good at. For example, with my newfound superpower of my ability to bring people along with me on an idea or on a journey, I can look at jobs in the future where I can use that skill well. So that might be in a leadership or management role where I have a team underneath me and I actually have to lead a project from start to finish, and I need to be able to bring people on board with me. It could be used in sales where I'm going out to customers and I'm trying to sell a product or a service to them and I have to bring them on board with it. So actually those things are very different to what I'm doing currently in my clinical role as a physiotherapist, but the same strengths can still be used in other roles. And what this means is that we're not stuck in the role that we're currently in. So if you're at work and you're not enjoying your job, what you can do is you can find out what your superpower is and use that superpower elsewhere. And you can use this then as leverage for the next job that you look at. To find out other ways you can use your strengths and interests to maximize your career growth, check out this playlist next that has my top videos on how to boost your career, including ones on how to turn your passion into purpose and the 6 work habits that changed my life. Otherwise, thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the next video.